Summer Game Fest happened. What were the biggest reveals and the biggest trailers? I want to go over that, of course, share my thoughts. And of course, I'm also curious to hear what you think the biggest reveal was. Let me know in the comments down below. Overall, I do think this was kind of a muted Summer Game Fest in a way. It had some cool things for sure, but I was missing the what? I did not see that coming. But yeah, I did have some updates on cool games that are coming out, and there are a ton of games coming out, in particular in September and October. Okay, we go over to IGN. They collected all the biggest trailers. So Resident Evil Requiem is actually the 2.1 million views, the biggest trailer at Summer Game Fest. Not really a surprise, because that was also the game that we were all hoping to see. Third person and first person camera this time, so that's exciting. But of course, how they like revealed this, saying that it was not gonna be there and then it suddenly was. I still think that's so weird, and we now had that 2 times during this Summer Game Fest, also with Ghost of Yote being like, yeah, we're gonna raid this camp. Oh, and by the way, check back in July, because then is when we are actually going to do it. But I thought this reveal was pretty cool, how you at first were like, what is this game? And then eventually, it of course became very clear. Looks great. Of course, they're finally ditching the older platforms. So I still have to play more of the Resident Evil games to really be up to date on everything. But I'm also not really a horror fan. So I know Resident Evil 4 is like the more action-focused title. I should probably at least play that. I know people love that game. But I'm usually a bit too scared. But it's the first big, next to GTA, 2026 game that got a release date. So that is exciting. Invincible Versus with 2.1 million. That is actually interesting. I am older. I already told you that. But that's of course the fighting game. I love Invincible. I still need to watch Season 3. But, and I think a fighting game for this just makes a lot of sense, because all the characters are really varied and, yeah, a ton of fun. So, I heard from people who played it that it's like, not, and you already see it, it's not like insanely AAA, but it's made by the people who did the Xbox launch game. What was it called again? On Xbox One? Killer Instinct. Maybe it was not at launch though, but it was like close to launch. So it's from Killer Instinct developers. Again, I think it could be cool, but I don't know if you could make another game based on this franchise, but I would have preferred that. I do not think if there's like a big enough audience for like a single player game, although I think that would be cool, like an Infamous type of situation. That would be kind of insane. On number 3, we find the game without any gameplay. But this trailer was insane though. I totally get why this trailer is watched like a lot of times. And I love the name of this game. So it's a strategy game, but I love the name of it. Game of Thrones. War for Westeros. We of course had Battle for Middle-earth and now War for Westeros. I think that's very smart. But yeah, it's a strategy game like those Lord of the Rings titles. But this trailer just looked, I think, very cool. Like the what if. But yeah, we have to wait and see if the game is actually good. How do you pronounce this? ILL? But yeah, this is of course the one with the final section where they kick babies. That's what. Does this trailer not have that? No, but I get why people love this. Again, I'm not a horror fan, but I get why people like what they're seeing here. But Resident Evil, I think I can manage, but this looks too crazy for me. Another brand new reveal, of course, from a relatively big franchise, The Expanse, Osiris Reborn. So I think this could be kind of cool. It's of course we are not getting the new Mass Effect in a long time, so getting kind of that vibe now, but in the Expanse universe could be cool. So you have like your crew as well who can help you out, and it's a third-person action shooter. 007 First Light is maybe my favorite reveal. I think it might be actually, because I just love James Bond, and of course having the Hitman team work on it. I think the trailer nailed the vibe of James Bond, and like we of course want a new Uncharted, and we're not getting that, at least for as far as we know. So I think this is the closest, and then having those James Bond elements, those gadgets, on top of that, the cool locations we go to. I can't wait for this game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And they announced, of course, for 2026. I think it will be before GTA 6. Otherwise, why announce it now, right? Why not wait till Summer Game Fest next year if they are launching in October next year or something? So I hope it's close. I hope it's like also in March or something, or yeah, around Resident Evil. What else? The ROG Xbox Ally was number 7, which is interesting. But yeah, of course, new hardware always big. And yeah, one of the, I think the biggest things that was said during Summer Game Fest where I was actually like, okay, this is impressive, is the fact that they have Silksong on this device. No, it's the fact that everything at the Xbox show is you can play that on this system natively. I think that's huge, because we are all, yeah, we kind of want a handheld with that is able to play all the console games on the go. And yeah, it seems like we're getting closer and closer to that. It is going to be very expensive, though. The leaked price is $900 for this X version. And you also have the white version, which is probably not as big or not as like good. So you want to get the X. But 900 is, of course, a huge amount. So yeah, it has the ability to play all those Xbox Showcase games. But yeah, it's for a small audience. Then another trailer I really loved, but then of course, yeah, we have to wait and see if they're actually able to pull it off, because all the pre-launch trailers for Atomic Heart 1 looked insane too. I just love the vibe they're going for, the more varied locations, and I thought the trailer was just very good because it just kept on going with crazy things, and I do think this is gameplay. I do think it is. So I'm just like, I think one of the biggest surprises during Summer Game Fest was that Mundfish, while still launching DLC for Atomic Heart, they are like, their 4th one is still coming out, I think, that they're already working on the sequel and doing the Cube, which is like their MMO RPG shooter type situation. So yeah, I think it looks good. We of course have to wait and see if the game actually turns out great, but hey, I think I love these sort of hype trailers where it's like, whoa, what the heck is going on? And it gets crazy and you don't know what you can expect. So I'm happy that they announced this, and I will be keeping an eye out for sure. Sonic Racers Crossworld, I get it. Of course, big IPs, and yeah, seeing like Steve and all those other characters in Joker and stuff. But the game itself, man, doesn't look great. So I don't know. I hope it's good, but I get why it has many views. Okay, that's interesting that it has quite a lot. So this is a new game from veterans who worked on many big franchises, including Assassin's Creed and the CDPR games. Like, this is all cinematic, like it's not gameplay or anything. But yeah, the idea that you are one guy on this battlefield, I think the gameplay starts here. And yeah, you can command your troops and are then fighting other troops in an open world game. And also, like, next to these battles are also planning and having resources and upgrading your characters and recruiting and training your army. Could be very cool. I think it's we don't have enough games like that. So I think this shot looks kind of insane. So I hope they are able to deliver on that. And honorable mentions, they say Metal Gear Solid Delta, High Life 2 clocked over 500,000. Marvel Token drew. That's interesting that that's not even fair share of success, but it's. You would think that a Marvel fighting game would at least reach 1 million views, right? Deadpool VR, I get it, it's VR. So yeah, Blood of the Dawnwalker, Clockwork Revolutions. So let's look at the what people actually think the biggest reveals are over here at Game Rant. The release date for Dying Light the Beast, of course, big, especially because it's on August. We, by the way, on the main channel did a rundown of 7 or 8? 6. I don't know. 6 or 7 games that from the Summer Game Fest that I think you would be interested in. Dying Light the Beast was included there too. And yeah, other single-player games as well. So check that out on the main channel. I will leave a link to it in the pinned comment. The release date for Arc Raiders, sure, it was big, but people were expecting it to launch way earlier than October. Stranger Than Heaven, oh, that's of course Samai. That's the The Yakuza game. Yeah. Fable was completely MIA. There were many. Like, that is, I think, why this Summer Game Fest felt so strange. And that makes me worried for what we're moving into. There are just... These companies are just, like, gonna be very, very focused on the next 12 months max. And mostly on the next few months. So where E3 was always first we're putting our flag down, this is what the next few years is gonna be of gaming. Now it's like just another marketing point, and then Gamescom will be one, and then Game Awards will be one. And it won't really be that monumental thing anymore. And yeah, we will see some new games, but it's also, yeah, there will be many missing too. Like but Xbox has too many games right now. They have to pick and choose if they want to keep the show 1 hour long. Game of Thrones, War for Westeros, we already talked about that. I think Lies of P, of course, being shadow dropped, that is huge. Wu-Tang, Rise of the Deceiver, I totally forgot about this game. They actually have some, it's still that same trailer. But music and action. So yeah, it's, I don't know. Not for me. I think the picks here are interesting. A gorgeous roguelike. Okay. I totally forgot about this game. That was at the Xbox show, I think. Jurassic World Evolution 3. This was during the Summer Game Fest show. That was pretty big. I can see that. It's launching in October, like every other game. Code Vein 2. There were a lot of sequels announced, like Atomic Heart and also Code Vein 2, where you're like, okay, I did not know that there was gonna be a sequel for this, but I'm happy for people who love this, but it's not really for me. Lego Voyagers. It's of course your It Takes Two with the Lego bricks. Scott Pilgrim on 5. Okay. I mean, I know people love that, but Mortal Shell 2. That's of course what they started Summer Game Fest with. Looked awesome, but I heard like mixed things about the first game. I have not played it. Wow, Chronicles Medieval on 3. Again, we touched on that. Want to see more. Early access in 2026 on PC. Atomic Heart 2. I think this looks insane. Like, the environment they are creating is insane. Let's hope that it actually works out. And then Resident Evil on 1. And I think it's going to be a completely different list for GameSpot. Do they have, like, they don't, like, Fortnite? I mean, this has already happened. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Oh, this is like the Summer Game Fest show that they had. No, for me, it was really 007. That was, like, the most hyped trailer for me. And, there was this one Xbox game. Let's look it up. Still crazy that they ended with Call of Duty. That's insane to me. That was such a cop-out. Yeah, Clockwork Revolution was awesome too. Again, we talk about that in the main channel video as well. But yeah, the sad part is though, no release date. Like, that's wild to me. With the amount of stuff they showed, it feels like this game is coming out in the next few months. Hope it's still the case though, but then they would have maybe said 2026. Yeah, Beast of Reincarnation is also in that video. I think it looks cool. Blood of the Dawnwalker. Yeah, this is it, right? I think this looks pretty awesome. This is like the game that I still remember from that Xbox show. It just looks very good. And I just love how it looks like your traditional third-person action game, but you're suddenly this cheerleader as well. I don't know. It just looks very polished already. And just like very, very fluid. And then it just gets crazier and crazier because you have these zombies all of a sudden. And then suddenly you have like crazy bosses who do like martial arts. Boom. Here, what are these bosses? And the environments look great too. Again, I think this game looks awesome. So yeah, this was the one where I was also like, okay, I did not know about this, and this is now on my radar. But of course, again, let me know what Summer Game Fest games or what reveals you thought were the biggest in the comments. Subscribe, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.